Kate Patello.
It tastes like chicken.
What?
I'm sorry. And I'm Leo Laporte. You said I smelled like chicken.
Well, yeah, you had chicken soup just now. I'm like, oh.
No, actually, I was eating
bouillon.
frog's legs.
No, I don't know what frogs smell like. I'm sorry.
And I'm Leo Laporte. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in today's show, thinking about Linux lately? I know I am. Oh, there's more. This is the show for you. I started thinking about it. This is the show for you. We'll point you to an online resource for sharing ideas about Linux.
Right. Also, we're going to talk about whether or not you can mix and match different Linux distributions. Does a Linux salad go together well? What's that?
Hold the vinegar.
Yeah.
Then later, Jim Louderback has a review. Okay. Jim Louderback has a review of a new portable scanner. All of these, well, we'll see. On today's Fresh Gear, that just said portable. Please say hello, ladies and gentlemen, in the nook to Mark Thompson, Analog X at analogx.com. But he's here today from his home in Phoenix, Arizona. You got a nice tan there, Mark.
My goodness.
Yeah, I've been out in the sun too much.
Yeah, I think so. For a programmer, you look pretty darn...
I think he likes the makeup lady. He didn't want to leave the chair.
Yeah.
She just kept putting
a little
on
more.
the
Have a little more. I'm feeling a little pale, Claudia. Can I have a little more?
Just food coloring.
Yeah.
Okay. All the food's processed that I eat, so, artificial colors kind of bleed in.
Tell us the truth, Mark. I mean, you are a premier programmer, one of the best in the industry. Do you get out much?
Do I get out much? Yeah, but it's usually at night. So I'm sleeping during the day.
That's right.
There you
sleeping
go.
in the daytime. Partying all night long.
He's a vampire.
The life of a programmer.
He could be, and we don't even know. Hey, before we talk about today's topic in the chat room, thanks, Mark. Hopefully we'll be checking in with you throughout the show. Let's check out the results of our last poll. Our question was, are you majoring in video games? Carol Surprise, 57% of you said yes.
Wow. 43% of you just maybe have given it up for Lent.
Or a minor. Maybe
it's a minor.
Minoring in.
Today we got a great chat room topic for you. Pentagon has announced smart cruise missiles. They're a lot cheaper, only $100,000, and best of all, they target their own targets.
Oh, that's great. Considering that the military has difficulty distinguishing what's a Chinese embassy and what's a, Bosnian bridge.
Well, that's the whole point. We're going to take it out of the hands of the generals and let the bombs decide what to bomb.
And then let the computer crash in the bomb.
Oh, God, I hope they don't have Windows CE running on those things.
Oh,
so our question for you, are weapons getting too smart?
Yes. I'm just going to click yes right there.
Well, now, one of the neat things about cruise missiles, and
one of the neat things about cruise missiles,
and these particularly, is they can go where it's too dangerous for humans to go. So somewhere where you wouldn't
blow things up where humans shouldn't be. Is that basically what you're telling me?
Hey, well, it's the enemy.
So
come on.
Humans where the humans shouldn't
Those are the bad guys. Well, I mean, I'm not going to get into the discussion of the morality of war or not, because let's presume it was a good war, one you approved of.
Good war.
It had the Kate Patello seal of approval.
Right, and I'm sure that's easy to come by. But let's just say there is one.
No, it might not be that hard. These days with some bad guys out there, there might be a time when you feel we need to defend our nation.
And that is
Wouldn't you prefer to send a smart missile into action than a human being?
Well, heck yeah.
Well, there you go.
However, I mean, human beings still have to...
Of course, if it searches out... The thing is, and I think you're right, I'd be a little worried about the computer targeting the wrong thing.
Because they have to target a missile anyway. A human, even far away...
Incoming. Oh, boy. No. Get hurt. No, I'm under contract, please.
Oh, great.
Just women and children first! No! Okay.
It's good to know that chivalry is still alive. You're such a gentleman, Leo.
Just kidding.
All right.
Are weapons getting too smart?
Take the web poll, screensavers.com, and, of course, while you're there, click on the Talk Back feature. And I don't know what you want to talk about, but, think something.
Well, you started it. I bet you're going to get a few people talking about, good war versus bad war.
No, that's true. I mean, that is interesting. It's an interesting issue. I'm just still thinking a human has to target a missile anyway. Like, if you're sending a missile, don't you usually do it from a missile base far away? And then you send a missile and you program it, you tell it where to go, right?
I haven't yet read Jane's to find out what this thing will do, but I suspect what you're talking about here is somebody makes a priority of targets. They overfly with reconnaissance satellite. They make it a priority of targets. The cruise missile says, can't get that one, target number 2. It's smart enough to at least pick from a list.
And they cost less than usual?
$100,000 instead of $1 million.
Okay, well, I'm into that. I'm into the cheaper missile thing. I like that.
If you're going to kill somebody, do it cheap, right?
I like that.
Give us a call on the phone.
More money for schools, less for missiles.
888-989-7879. You say that now, but... you never know what's going to happen in the world.
There we go.
You know why? It's because you grew up in an era, as did I, pretty much, where the war we were fighting wasn't the greatest war in the world. But there have been eras when there have been. It's important for.
Hey, World War II. Hello.
The good war. Chat with us at chat.zdnet.com. There are times when fighting is the right thing to do.
Yes.
And click on the screensavers room if you want to be in the chat room, because that's where all the action is.
Well, unless, of course, you want to be on television.
Oh.
Then there's some action by saying action in the Netcam Cineplex. Let's take a look. Hello, Shannon. How are you?
And what does Kevin have to say back there?
I can't even read it. Hold it up there, man.
He says,
smarter than the average weapon. You know, Kevin, you are a devil.
If I were him, I'd be worried because he's built like a tank.
Right. That's what Ken said, too.
Remember, he's built like a tank. I'm built like a tank.
Well.
Remember, if you appear on the show via Netcam, the coveted screensavers, magnetic picture frame will be yours. Our magnet pick today features Jim and Jennifer from Anaheim, California. Aren't they a cute couple?
All right. Wow, it's the first time we haven't had somebody launched in space or in a unicycle.
They're just sitting there like normal people.
Looking charmant.
Yeah.
Hey, you too can get your pick on our fridge. Just send it to the screensavers at ZDTV.com, and you make fridge picture the subject line.
Juan joins us on the ZDTV Netcam network from Brooklyn, New York. Hello, Juan.
Hello, Juan.
Hey, Kate, Leo.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm stoked, actually. Very good.
All right. He's stoked to be on the show. Well, you know what? I'm going to stoke you even further and toss you a magnet. You ready?
Look, he just looked at himself.
1, 2.
Keep looking at us. Don't look at the... Oh! It's taken a while to get across the country there.
Wow.
There we go.
All right.
Actually, can I just say I'm going for my PhD in gaming.
Are you? You're gonna get a doctorate.
Yep.
And what
You going
game?
to NYU?
What game are you going to get the doctorate in? Are you right now?
Quake 3 and Unreal Tournament.
Which, you know, I personally become an Unreal Tournament fan. I like Quake 3, but I love Unreal Tournament. Which do you like the best?
Quake 3.
Okay.
Quake 3? You're going to write a thesis on Quake 3? What is your thesis going to be?
How to frag.
Yeah.
I'm just going to frag
How to
a lot
frag.
of people.
The use
lots of people.
The use of cruise missile weapons in the Quake 3.
The use of the railgun.
I was thinking maybe, strafing would be a very important thing for that, because I have not got that down yet.
What's your handle in the Quake servers?
El Conquero.
El Conquero. What does that mean?
Huh?
El Conquero.
What does that mean?
The Conqueror.
Ooh, El Conquero.
Oh, Conquero.
Oh,
there we go.
Man, he's tough. What can we do for you, Juan?
Conquero.
Actually, that brings me to my question about DSL or ASDL.
Yeah, ADSL.
Whether or not I should just go for DSL now or wait for ASDL.
ADSL.
Yeah.
You may actually be getting ADSL.
That's what I have.
You have ADSL. DSL is a generic term for digital subscriber line for a variety of different technologies like VDSL, very high speed, asynchronous ADSL, SDL, synchronous. You probably wouldn't get synchronous.
That's really expensive.
Not synchronous, I'm sorry, symmetric and asymmetric. It is, and this is why. You have asymmetric, probably Juan would get asymmetric. That means the asymmetry is it's faster download
than it is upload.
That's right.
Yes.
And it's much more expensive to have a high-speed upload because that's a server, right?
Definitely.
There's also now, and this may be what your phone company is offering, is something called G-Lite.
DSL Lite?
Which is also DSL Lite. That's cheap because there's no truck roll. In other words, they don't have to send a truck out to set it up. You can just plug in the equipment and it should work. They don't have to condition the line. They don't have to do anything at your house. They merely change the switch at their end. So it's often cheaper.
But how's the bandwidth? If they don't have to condition the line, they can't really...
Bandwidth's lower. You're right. And the quality of the line has a lot to do with bandwidth. So G-Lite tends to be more like somewhere around 256 to 384 kilobits. Have you asked your phone company what they're offering? Juan? El Conquero.
Conquero. Oh, he said his phone's dying.
Okay.
Okay. Gesture with big hand gestures. We'll do it in semaphore, okay? So we're telling you.
The bottom line is ask your phone company. But you know what? You can get what you can get. There's nothing to wait for. It's not a new technology. It's what they're offering, and usually more expensive to get higher speed. You pay by the speed, right?
Yeah.
But you have ADSL.
I have ADSL. Mine's, I think, like $50 a month, including the ISP.
Yeah, in fact, they just lowered it to $40 for new people.
For new people, lucky duck new people. But it's totally worth it. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Cool.
So, it saves me so much frustration. Go for it if you can get it.
Is just wonderful.
Oh, just the way to go. If you can get it, snag it. Now, folks, after the break, we're going to have a news group for Linuxophiles. When the screen stays
for you to say.
Linuxophiles.
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 Time once again for News Groove. This week's recommendation, comp.os.linux.advocacy, not avocado C, for information about the flavors of Unix. It does not come in avocado, but it does come in many different wonderful flavors. And
avocado? Avogadro? 10 times 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd?
Avocado's number.
Avocado's number. That's right.
That's how many lemons to put in per avocado into your guacamole.
Guacamole. Huh?
I had a video conference. We're going to actually, I think, talk about that a little later on, using Linux, getting Linux to work with Windows, Linux, all the stuff we answer on the show, the kinds of questions people have. Those comp.os.linux hierarchy is great, and the advocacy one is a really fun one to read. Lots of good, smart people in there.
All right.
Talking Linux.
So you know where we keep all those, don't you?
Where do we?
At thescreensavers.com there.
That's right.
The most informative website.
Full of good News Groove recommendations.
That's right.
Eric joins us on the phone from the Roundup in Montana.
Montana.
Hi, Eric.
Wow. Hi, Eric.
Hi.
How you doing?
Yeehaw.
Oh, pretty good. Well, not too much cows around here.
Really?
No, not really.
There used to be, though, baby.
They all got rounded up.
It's not that rural, but it is pretty rural.
I love the name.
Oh, it's Roundup. So you know what they do in Roundup, Montana?
What?
Everything's like 7. It's not 6.5.
Oh, yeah, you round it
Everything's
up.
rounded up. That has to be.
That's a mad geek question.
Yeah.
Joke.
Sorry.
What can we do for you, Eric?
Well, I'm trying to capture video, and
Yes.
I'm losing about 25% of my frames.
Ooh, that's bad.
Yeah, but the manual for the video card says that I should try 15 frames per second.
Yeah.
And I'm going up to 30, and it's working better, but it's still losing 25%.
Okay.
What video card are you using?
Riva TNT Model 64.
What kind of hard drive do you have?
Maxter 13 gig, Ultra DMA 33.
Let me ask you a question. Are you doing capture or playback?
Capture.
You're not capturing with a Riva. What are you capturing with?
Well, it's a kind of a combination card from a company called Pixelview.
Okay. And they're saying to go to a lower frame rate to drop fewer frames, not a higher frame rate. You understand that?
Yep.
Right.
And you know why that is?
Mm-hmm.
Frame dropping happens when the computer chokes. It
can't keep up.
Cannot keep up.
Mm-hmm.
So what Kate was asking about the hard drive, because that has something to do with it, the speed of your hard drive, speed of your processor. And why is the speed of your processor important? Because you have to compress every single frame as it's coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Choice of codec, the size of the frame that you're recording, make it a smaller frame.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have it's a smaller amount of data, isn't it? So basically, if you think of it, your computer, think of it as, here's your hard drive. Here's a big fat pipe to your hard drive, and here's the capture card. You're pumping data down there, but if you get too much data, the pipe can't hold that much data. It leaves out some, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some splashes out the outside.
Yep.
What you have to either do is reduce the amount of data going through, increase the pipe, or increase the speed here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the gist of the issue. There are some things you can do right away without buying anything new. Defragging the hard drive.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's the number one tip. It's such a clever but simple thing to do.
That's a way of speeding up your drive, in effect.
Or, as you mentioned, actually put all of your capture on its own partitions.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, that is
You're
what
doing
you
that.
do. Okay.
I like doing that. You're going to get the best results there. And if you want to really further tweak it, put the special partition for recording video on the outside of the drive. Make it the first partition, because the outside of the drive spins faster than the inside of the drive, right? You've done all that.
Very good.
Well, it sounds like you've done everything you can. It may just merely be the limitations of your hardware.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sustained throughput is what you're really looking for.
I'm capturing it uncompressed in 24-bit, so...
Well, that's why.
Uncompressed?
Yep.
That's
now,
a lot
Eric,
of data.
There you go. You need to use some kind of compression codec, because exactly...
Well, it depends where the problem's happening, okay?
Well, all right.
Now, again, I want to add one more thing to this pipe. At one point in the pipe, there's a processor squeezing the data, close to the hard drive, right? Squeezing the data. Sometimes that can cause more frame dropping, because your processor has to work, and then you're going to get a backup in the pipe, right?
But there's compression coming from the card, too, isn't there?
Well, there is minimal, but he doesn't have the choice to turn that off or on.
Okay.
When he's changing the compression, he's changing in software. That's the compression that's happening.
Okay,
So that's a good point. All cards do some compression, because there's no bus alive that can handle true uncompressed video. I mean, that's gigabytes a second. So, or maybe not a second, but certainly a minute. So maybe try different codecs. Faster hard drive, you've got to play with the parameters. And literally, it may merely mean that your pipe is just not big enough, or your hard drive is just not fast enough.
So keep the picture smaller.
Yep. That's one way to do it. Fewer colors.
Fewer colors. Smaller picture. Keep it simple. Make sure you've got that down first, and then see if you can add parameters as you go.
And if they're saying 15 frames, that's probably because they know their card can't handle
Which means you should probably do 10.
Yeah.
Actually, if they recommend 15, you should do 10.
Drop them because you say so, not because the card gives up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Up next, more answers to your toughest computer problems. Hope that helps when the screensavers continue.
What if we drop our phones down?
Screensavers.com is the best place for more information about what's on this show. Have you subscribed to the Screensavers show notes yet? You get all the details for every live call we take on the program. Special links from my fingers to your inbox. Join the world subscribing now at thescreensavers.com. Very good.
Thanks. We need a little tone science.
Dave joins us on the ZDTV Net Cram Network from Chesapeake, Virginia. Thank you for joining us, Dave.
Hey, Leo. Hey, Kate.
Hey, Dave.
Disturbing. Hi, Dave. How you doing?
What's up? I'm doing good. I've been having some problems installing Mandrake Linux 7.
Uh-oh.
What it is, I'm trying to dual boot with Windows 98. And I need to choose where I want to install Lilo.
Right.
And I'm not sure exactly where to install it because I get problems when I try and do it in the master boot record.
Okay. Do you have another?
Go in front, though?
It doesn't matter. Do you have another boot manager, or you want to use Lilo?
I want to use Boot Magic. Okay. And I was wondering where I should put it.
Oh, now this is where things start to get a little weird. No, Boot Magic can take over.
Well, you have to understand what's happening here. Lilo is both the Linux loader, that's what Lilo is short for, and a boot manager. It's two things in one. So you can use it as a boot manager. And if you want it to be the boot manager, yeah, you have to put it in the master boot record. Think about how your computer boots up. The way it boots up is when it comes on, the first thing that's loaded from the hard drive is the contents of the master boot record.
Right. How many drives do I have?
It tells us some partition stuff, and then it also has information about how to boot, how to go from here. And it basically says, here's where the operating system is. Start loading it.
Right.
Now, if you put Lilo in there, what loads instead of the master boot record, program that says go to Windows, is Lilo runs, and it says, okay, and then it looks at its configuration file and it says, okay, I have an operating system on this partition and an operating system on this one, and gives you a choice. Or if you only have Linux on there, it just loads Linux. So Lilo could sit in the master boot record, or some other boot manager like Boot Magic can sit in the master boot record. If you want Boot Magic to do the booting, don't put Lilo in the MBR. You put Lilo in the boot sector, the boot partition directory of Linux.
Okay.
That makes sense?
So
and then what you'll tell,
I see.
You'll tell Boot Magic to do the same thing. And Boot Magic will say, I have two operating systems. And then give you a menu. One boots to the partition that the Windows directory is on. One boots to the partition that the Linux boot sector is on.
So then if it goes to the Linux boot sector, then Lilo.
That's right.
All right.
Does that kind of make sense to you, Dave?
Yeah, I was doing that, but it didn't give me the choice of boot sector. It said device HDA1, HDA2, and HDA3. So it didn't actually specify boot sector.
That was nice of it. The MBR in Lilo is HDA, period. No number 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay? So what you then now have to you have to figure out, and you can actually do this after the fact. If you read the Lilo how-to, it'll tell you how to do this. What you have to figure out is where your boot folder, your boot directory is, what partition it's on. It's going to be on one of those 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. So, but you have to know where it is, okay? It didn't say put it on MVR, put it... Yeah, you know, as I remember, this is one of the things I didn't like about the Mandrake 7 installer is it does this in a couple of places. It doesn't tell you what these partitions are. It just says what partition.
Oh.
It should say you made this the /boot mount point. You made this the / and the root mount point. Things like that. It doesn't tell you that. You need to know that information.
Is, yeah.
So a couple of things you could do. You could back out of the Mandrake install, use another partitioner like FDisk, and then write down what partitions you have. If Lilo is in an HD 1, 2, 3, or 4, it'll be in the /boot. Make sure you find out which one /boot is. And then HDA is the master boot record. So if you don't want Lilo there, put it in the /boot.
Okay.
And you get that and put the partition or the Boot Magic program in the MVR.
In the MVR.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you start with the MVR, then Boot Magic handles it, hands it off if you want the Linux partition, then the Linux partition says load. Then you have to have Lilo load.
That's when Lilo is no longer a boot manager. Lilo is merely the Linux loader, which is its main function. If you aren't using it to boot other things, you can turn off the delay. If you change the lilo.conf file, you can turn off the delay. You can turn off the prompt. You can have it just boot straight to Linux. Again, look at the Lilo how-to for more details on this. It's pretty good.
Cool.
Birmingham, Alabama.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Joining us.
Hey, Jeff.
Hello.
Hey, Kate and Leo, how y'all doing?
We're
great. Very well, thank you.
Hey, I got a question. I am looking to get I'm an 18-year-old high school senior going to college. I'm looking to get a PC under $1,000, and I know Pentium is pretty much out of the race for that. Maybe a K62 chip.
Power. K62.
Or K63.
450 would be good, or a K63.
I'm looking for like a faster, anything above maybe 500.
They just announced a 550 K63, you know, because they're discontinuing the 550 Athlon. So they have a K63 that's 550. Frankly, a Celeron wouldn't be a bad choice for you either.
No.
They have 500 plus Celerons.
Or an overclocked Celeron 400.
$1,000 is not a low amount of money nowadays.
No.
And it might even be enough to do a P3.
Do you think so?
Yeah, but what are you going to do with this? Gaming or what?
Well, I'm not a big gamer. I'm more of a web surfer.
Oh.
Okay. Then a Voodoo 3 2000. That's
you don't even need that. He's not gaming.
More basic? What's
well,
more basic?
First of all, let's look at the processor. Celeron or K63, fine.
Yeah, totally.
Okay? The only reason you want anything better is if you're doing high-end 3D graphics or gaming, okay? You're not. You don't even need the Voodoo 3 2000. It's a good card, but you know, I wouldn't necessarily buy that one. I mean, there's a lot of choices, but that's $80. So let's go. Okay, let's go with
$80.
that.
Come on,
Let's put a lot of RAM in it, though. Okay, 128 megs of RAM.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
I'm looking to get Windows 2000. I know you need 64 megs or more.
128. 128, and you're probably going to want to get a pretty big hard drive, but that's not bad. The new IBM Desktop, I think it's the 32. Is $120 for some ungodly number of gigabytes.
Just break it into a bunch of partitions.
I think it's 27 gigabytes.
Cheap sound card. Just get like an AW64 Sound Blaster.
Yeah.
If you're not going to be gaming with
Audio
it,
PCI
that'll be totally fine. Yep.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I think you're well under $1,000.
Monitor, cheap monitor.
That's where you want to spend more money than anything else, frankly.
You're staring at it all day.
And I think you can get a pretty good 17-inch monitor for about 150 to 200, and you can even get a pretty good 19 for about 300.
Try and get one with a flat screen. If you can.
That's what I want is a flat screen.
Well, I mean, not flat panel, but flat screen.
Yeah, the flat panel will be $1,000.
Those are like
right there.
$1,000. I know. I want one.
But you can get these new monitors with absolutely flat screens. Have the advantage of they don't lose focus on the edges, and they really look good.
And you get some decent, even Altec Lansing little speakers. It'll be like $25.
You should have no trouble.
For you.
No trouble putting together a computer under $1,000, or just go out and get one of the E-machines. You know, I like the E1.
They're really good.
$799.
Come on.
So there's a lot of good choices out there.
Bada bing.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Right. Or you could always just get an iMac, and then you're done.
iMac.
But that's
$999, $5, and you're done.
See?
Folks, don't start flipping. Still to come on this very show, mixing and matching Linux parts. Is it a good idea?
Or do they clash?
They might. Also, more answers to your toughest computing questions, and Jim Louderback shows us whether or not portable scanners are really that good an idea. All that and more as the Screensavers rolls on. Screensavers. I'm Leo Laporte.
I'm Kate Patello. Thank you for joining us.
Today in the chat room, we actually have a serious topic. Are weapons too smart? I don't know.
Isn't that strange? Smart missiles.
Well, these cruise missiles are. Remember the footage from the Gulf War of, actually seeing the cruise missile through its own eyes and watching it zoom and right in. The cruise missiles are $1 million each, very expensive. Mm-hmm. The Pentagon's announced they have a new cruise missile system, 100 thou each, 1/10 the cost.
I can't believe they cost so much less.
And they're smart.
With a processor.
They self-target. They actually, now we don't know exactly how it works. I'm guessing they'll be given a list, and what they'll do is they'll look and say, I can't get that one, I'll get this one. Instead of, right now the way it is, you say, hey, go get that thing, and if they can't, oh no, here it comes again.
Oh,
go get
man.
Bill, go get Bill. Uh-oh, Bill.
Not the tux,
Bill.
not the tux.
Bill.
Don't hurt the little penguin. Oh, don't hurt the Bill.
No, it's just like that Gulf War footage. So we ask you, are weapons in general, not just cruise missiles, getting too smart? Self-targeting is a little scary.
I think that is a little scary because what happens when it goes wrong? Computers break, things short circuit, it rains, Take the webhole, screensavers.com. Hey, it's my job to be paranoid for you.
Never rains during war, does it? I don't believe it.
Oh, no. And, of course, click on the talkback feature and tell us how you really feel.
Chat with us, chat.zdnet.com. Mark Thompson, our buddy's in the chat room, and I hope you're showing him a good screensaver's time. You having fun in there, Mark?
I'm having a great time.
He's sitting in front of the no place left to turn sign. So if there's no place left to turn to our chat room, and Mark, Analog X Thompson, he runs the great analogx.com website, some wonderful stuff, which he gives away for free, which is wonderful.
For free.
A pro like him writing software for you.
Beautiful utilities, and they're tiny, and they take up almost no CPU cycles, and we love them very much.
Brad joins us on the phone from LaGrange, Kentucky, our next caller on the Screensavers.
Hello, Brad.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Hello. Hey.
You're on the air. Hey. How about that?
Cool.
What can we do for you?
I have a question about USB networking.
Yes.
Me and a friend are going to have a LAN party, and
I'm so jealous.
and we were wondering if we could set up how we would set up a USB network, because we figure almost everyone has a USB port, but
that's the easiest way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
USB headlet. It's a
USB
magical
headlet.
thing.
Well, here's what he needs.
Yeah.
And by the way, let's explain what a LAN party is. And I think it's LANparty.com, isn't it?
I'll check that out.
LAN parties are where you get a bunch of computers, a bunch of friends, and you're all networked. Instead of playing a computer game online on the slow internet, you're playing on a high-speed network right here. It is the most fun you've ever had.
Yes.
Because when you're fragging somebody, you shout, hey, I gotcha! And they're right there.
We used to play Quake with Computer Gaming World. It was one tiny little room.
So much fun.
Oh, man.
So how many people do you think you're going to get in your LAN party?
Probably 6 to 8.
Oh, that's going to be great. Let me whip out a computer here. Oh, okay. And
wasn't that just handy?
Yeah, we got one right here. And this has a USB connector on the back. What you're going to be getting is a special kind of USB. In fact, the connector, I use them myself. And all it is really, this is very simple. Instead of putting a NIC in, you see, we have on this machine down here a network interface card that you'd plug in your 10 base T cable to, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of getting that, what you do is you get this $35 adapter that's basically a USB NIC.
Okay.
So that plugs in the USB port, and on the other end is
an Ethernet.
An RJ45 connector into which you plug the same cable you'll be plugging into here, okay? So from that point on, everything's just like it would be for any other network. You'd go into a hub, you'd have to, each one would have to have a unique IP address, of course, and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But you go into a hub, and every computer plugs into the hub, and that's it. You got your LAN.
Now you can get a USB 10-port hub for.
No, you're misunderstanding.
Oh, you're not needing.
It's not a USB hub. It's a standard Ethernet hub. Once we get out of here, it's all Ethernet. It's just like a normal. There's nothing different, Brad, from what you're already used to. Now, a couple of things you should be aware of. You do have to run the USB drivers, so you'll have to be using Windows 98. You won't be able to do this in Windows 2000. Your machines have to have USB connectors. They are roughly $35. I use one from Linksys, but Intriga makes them. Almost all the USB companies make them. A number of the network card companies make them. I found them to be just as fast, but you know, the limitation is Windows 98 only, and you do have to get that USB driver working, which is not guaranteed. No. But in most cases, I haven't had any trouble. I use it on a notebook. It's great for a notebook where I don't want to spend $150 on a notebook PC card network interface. I just use this. So basically, if you want to know more about LAN partying, LANparty.com. They have a lot of information on setting it up. And if you want to know more about USB to Ethernet interfaces, I use Linksys, as I said, and Entrega, ENTREGA.com sells them. Almost all of the USB companies sell these. And I think they're a good idea. Okay?
Okay, thanks.
Hey, you're welcome. When's your LAN party?
Okay.
When's your party?
I don't know, somewhere around the middle of March.
Can Kate and I come?
Sure.
Sure. What are you guys going to play?
Quake 3, Quake 2, Half-Life.
Oh, so it's an all-night
slumber party.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, that's really
cool.
We
actually, one of the things I really want to do, and we're working on it, is I want to set up a LAN party here. I mean, we'll have some viewers come in, but I don't want to do USB and 10-base to Ethernet. I want to do fiber. We're going to have fiber
not
network.
Asking for much.
We're going to have the fastest possible. We're going to have like 20.
It's like a big OC3.
Yes. We're going to have 20 UGMs. So we're going to have the fastest hardware possible. We're going to have the fastest fiber connecting them all. Maybe they'll all have these giant screens too. I don't know. And that wouldn't that be a great lamp? We just put them all around.
Wake up.
Oh.
Wake up. You're dreaming.
What?
All right. Now, why don't you take a nap? Up next.
Where am I?
Can a scanner really work if it's designed to be portable? Are those your pants? We'll find out when the screensavers continue.
I'll put this back. Screensavers.com is the best place for more information about what's on this show. Earn your Chip Speed Merit Badge by taking this week's Super Geek Challenge about the speed of your computer. It's all at thescreensavers.com.
And major congratulations to Greg of Knoxville, Tennessee, the winner of yesterday's Super Geek Quiz T-shirt or cap giveaway. You like that? I'm psychic.
Wow, how does she know that? Be sure to fill out the form after you've taken the quiz for your chance to win.
All right. Jim Lauterbach puts portable scanning to the test on today's Fresh Gear.
This is the Petascan. It is a portable flatbed scanner, and it's USB. and it works with a Macintosh or a PC. And if you notice, it's only got one cable coming out of it. That's because it's powered by USB. Now, as a portable flatbed scanner, watch as I open it up. I'll show you what the tray looks like. This is it right here. 4 inches this way, 6 inches this way. That's enough to scan a picture, but if you want to scan an 8.5 by 11 document, you have to do it a couple times and then run it through a stitching process. Scanning itself is pretty easy. To scan, we took this picture right here. You see right here, we popped it in, closed it up, and we hit this one-button scan button right here to scan in. It took about a minute to scan in. 300 by 600 DPI. That's about half of what you'll get with a bigger flatbed scanner. As you can see, the picture came in looking pretty well in the software, and it was pretty easy to do. Now, there's one other feature about this scanner I like a lot, and something that makes it great for portable scanning. You can actually hold it up to the wall or to something else, and it's got a window in it, so you can see through it. So as you scan, you can watch what you scan through the little window to see what you do. It's kind of a neat feature. Now, the scanner itself is a little bit expensive when it comes to flatbed scanners. It's $179. Most flatbed scanners are about $100. But it's really the only scanner in its class that's portable, lightweight like this, and allows you to do all the things that this one does. Overall, we give the Pediscan 4 out of 5 stars. It's $179, and it is available now.
What do you know?
They like
it. You can get your new fresh gear. He likes everything. You get your new fresh gear every weekend afternoon at 12:30 Eastern, right here on ZDTV. And no, he doesn't like everything.
Here's an email from Dorian in Johnson City, Tennessee. He says, is there a way to mix the features of different distributions of Linux? I'm interested in some of the features of SUSE and some in Caldera, but I want to install Red Hat as a primary installation. Mix and match Linux. Can you do it? We'll show you when the screensavers leave. We received an email from Dorian in Johnson City, Tennessee. He said, any way to mix the different distributions of Linux? Apparently he wants SUSE and Caldera and Red Hat all in one big ball. Well,
Can you do that without a really lousy OS hangover afterwards?
Oh, sure. I mean, it just depends what features he means. I mean, first of all, you have to understand what Linux is. They all use the same Linux kernel. Linux is Linux because of the kernel. That's what Linus Torvalds, the inventor of Linux, wrote, was the kernel. He still oversees it. He still gives it the official stamp of approval, making it the Linux kernel. So all of the distributions, the dozens and dozens of distributions, use the same kernel. What varies is the software they package with the kernel. The kernels, as we've said before, you know, it's like half a megabyte. It's not huge. Well, what's all those other hundreds of megabytes you get? Well, most of it's GNU, which is a project that was created by Richard Stallman about 15 years ago to duplicate the functionality of Unix for free.
GNU's not Unix.
GNU's not Unix. So a lot of that GNU software is similar from distribution to distribution. So that's not much different either. Most of the time, if you get a Linux, you're going to have the EGCS C compiler. You're going to have the same, the X server. I mean, most of the stuff will be the same. The difference is between distributions really come down to the installer. Each of them has a custom installer. Well, I presume you're going to use one. You're not going to use other people's installers because it's installed. And then there are some special programs that each uses for configuration. We've talked about Linux Conf. In fact, we use that all the time. That's a Red Hat product. SUSE uses YAST, I think, which is yet another setup thingy. I think that might be what it stands for. No, I don't think so.
I wouldn't be surprised the way these generally go.
So there are other, Red Hat uses RPM. SUSE doesn't use the RPM format. So, but basically, you could always go to, in fact, here, let's go to Linux Apps, which is a Linux application site. You can go to any Linux app site, and you can almost always get these running on all Linuxes. I mean, that's the strength of Linux, is that all Linux applications will work, but it might take a little effort. to understand what kind of effort, you have to understand the difference between binary and source code. Most Linux applications are available as source code. They're open source. That means the original C or C++ or Python or Perl or whatever programming code, unprocessed. To get it working, you need to compile it into binary. That's what the computer uses, and then run it. And you'll need to have the certain kinds of libraries. The library versions vary from distribution to distribution and version of distribution to distribution. So you want to make sure that you have the appropriate libraries in your on your system so that you can compile it. Okay. You can also many times get binary versions. Those are pre-compiled by somebody, but then that's get specific. That's for a specific distribution, specific version of the library.
And it's better, don't you want to do it on your own machine?
Well, it doesn't matter machine-wise as long as you have the right libraries and the right version of Linux.
Okay.
So generally, I use RPM binaries whenever I can because it saves me the trouble. You run the RPM package manager and it unpacks them. But you won't be able to do that with like LinuxConf because there won't be, if you're on SUSE, there won't be a SUSE form of LinuxConf. It's a Red Hat product. So if you want LinuxConf to work on SUSE, you will probably have to compile it. You'll probably have to read some of the manuals. You may have to set this up by hand. For instance, getting the daemons through the LinuxConf daemon to run at an appropriate time by modifying your run command scripts.
But if they're all the same flavor, you can just use binaries. But if you're going to mix, then you have to compile so that they'll work with each other.
That's right.
Okay.
And that's generally true. So I guess the answer is all Linux software that's open source software should run on almost all versions of Linux unless they're very, very odd.
Okay.
But you may have to compile them yourself. And the main thing that's difficult is you probably will have to spend a lot of time with the how-tos and the readmes and the documentation to figure out what configuration you need to do to make it work. Maybe getting a daemon running. It may be making sure you have certain other dependent files installed, things like that. Okay?
Sounds complicated.
Well, it's no more complicated than the rest of Linux.
Linux is not easy.
We talk about Linux, and our research shows that a lot of you want to know more about Linux, and I think that's great. But Linux is not designed. Let's actually push the button.
All right.
Push it twice, and we'll have Linux. Linux looks like Windows, and it looks really cool and graphical and easy to use, but it is not yet for the end user. It is for somebody who wants to know how to learn how to use Unix, wants to really get good at using Unix, wants to understand the guts of a machine, somebody who wants to play with it. Now, a lot is being done. The guys who wrote the original Macintosh operating system, Mike Boich and Andy Hertzfeld and some others, have gotten together to make a form of Linux that is as easy to use as the Apple Macintosh.
Really?
When they do that,
I'm in.
I'm in. I don't want it to be hard to use either. I like playing with it, but
because I'm trying to figure it out. That's why I sit here like this when you're talking about it. Hopefully it's going to soak in.
But it's important. I think the reason, and I really encourage kids to learn Linux, is because it helps you understand the guts of how a computer works, so that you know the difference between Windows and a computer.
Yeah,
Windows is just one way of doing it.
It's better to be not locked into DOS, like so many adults are. If kids can learn there are different ways to relate to the computer, that's really good.
Because the Internet runs on Unix, knowing Unix is a very, very good thing. Okay?
Okay.
Let's move right on to our next call.
A quick one with Andrew on the phone from Verona, New Jersey. How you doing?
Hi.
Give us a question.
I have a problem with my IP address. Like, I can't find it.
Where is it?
I don't know where to find. Like, someone told me where it was, and I went there. Like, I typed in my run area.
You typed winipconfig, yes?
Yeah, and
let's show everybody how you do that so they can follow along and be on the same page you are.
Yeah.
It says, what is my IP configuration?
You need your IP address for things like Internet gaming so that people can connect to you.
Oh, well, look, this will explain.
This is normal. We should just show this drop-down thing real quickly. It starts with the PPP adapter, or if you have an AOL adapter. It does it in alphabetical order, right? So AOL adapter will show up top. You have to pick the adapter. Every adapter can have a different IP address. So if you're using PPP, you want to check. Now, in many cases, you don't have an IP address until you're online. Don't check till you've dialed out, because your Internet service provider assigns you an IP address once you log in. Are you on a modem?
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't do that now. Wait till you
you have to wait till you're logged in.
And then you'll see an entry after you select PPP. You'll see an entry for your IP address. It changes each time you dial out. The Internet service provider has a pool of addresses that he or she can assign to you, and assigns them as you call in.
Yeah, you don't get one until you ask for one. So it's going to be different every time. And that's how everybody I know who's using DHCP, playing Quake or what have you, they all have to run WinIPconfig as soon as they've connected so they can find out where to go and how to connect to each other.
There are lots of other ways, but WinIPconfig is pretty straightforward. If you have a network interface card, you wouldn't even need IPconfig. You would just double-click the Ethernet
card bound to your TCP protocol.
Right, exactly. You double-click that, and you get an IP address right there. Okay, which I'm going to quickly close.
Yeah, too late.
People are pausing the tape right now.
Right now.
So does that all make sense to you? Is that going to help you?
Yeah, it does. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Until you dial out, you don't have one.
Right. Pretty much.
Okay.
You
guys are the coolest, man.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We're glad you like the show. Keep watching.
Yeah, I always watch. I try never to miss it. If I miss it, I'll tape it.
All right. If he misses it, he'll tape it.
That's good.
Tape it? Really?
I know people who tape it.
Because I'm like a new person on doing computers a little bit. I know more than my dad, but I still have little problems with it.
You know why Kate and I do this show? Believe it or not, it's not for the vast amounts of money they pay us. It is, but it's also because...
I'm sorry?
She's laughing.
Did I do that out loud?
She knows what those vast...
Anyway.
It's because we want you to be able to use these things. This is changing the world, folks.
That's the whole point.
You gotta know this, and especially for young people. I know this is a real thing for you. It's so important that you know this because this is going to be your world as you grow up. So we're basically, draining our brains so that you can.
Here to help you figure out how to figure it out yourself. Thank you. Can I get a witness?
Hallelujah.
All right, that's much better. All right, so the point is, we're trying to teach you how to fish so you can, because you know what, ultimately, folks?
What?
It's going to be you alone with the blue screen of death by yourself.
No.
And you're going to have to be the one who has to fix it.
But you can.
But you
I believe you can.
And we believe in you and you believe in yourself. That's
Put your hand on the PC. Hallelujah.
All right, anyway. Well, now, boy, this just seems like such... Please record a video email and send it to us. Instructions in your scripts are waiting. Screensavers.com. I could make jokes there, and
I'm glad.
I want to do it. Just home. You're going to go home. We are going home if you don't send him an email. Now, Nicholas, keep him here, please, and take us to break. Please.
The Screensaver, Kate and Lee will be back shortly to answer all of his toughest computer questions. Right here on ZDTV. Amaze yourself.
to the screensavers. Take a peek up there on your screen. You'll see the preliminary results of today's poll. So far, 30% of you say bombs are too smart, 41% say no, and just because we felt like throwing it in there, the remaining 29% say lasers. Just because we wanted it to be a choice, you know. We're just like, can we put lasers in there?
We just want to say lasers all the time. Kirk Chambers writes, this is one for you, Analog X, Mark Thompson. Does Max Mem from Analog X, that's that program that he wrote, free program to recover RAM, only show % RAM free? Does it show system resources free, Mark? Only RAM. And, you know, people ask us all the time, how can we recover those system resources? Can your program do that?
Mine doesn't do it, and I'm not aware of any that do. I've seen some that claim, but I've looked into it, and they didn't appear to be doing anything.
Is that just because it's so hard to get it back? Or
there isn't a clear way to do it that I'm aware of.
Okay. Well, we tell people to restart, and I guess that's what you'd say, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only way to recover missing system resources
is to restart.
You got one in there? Thank you, Mark.
Hey, Leo, on a recent episode of the Screensavers, we talked about Buckyworks, yes? Buckyballs.
I was wrong.
For heaven's sake, yes. Buckyballs are actually a molecule made up of 60 carbon atoms, C60. C60 is named Buckminster fullerene because of the structure of the molecule. Buckyballs form a soccer ball shape made up of hexagons and pentagons. Because of Fuller's work and structure, it's given the honor of having these molecules supposedly stronger than diamonds named after him. Just a little info to keep you honest.
Well, I wasn't
thank you,
being
Mitch.
dishonest.
No, you know.
I thought it was a subatomic particle.
But thank you for all you super smart people writing us.
We get a lot of those,
We get
didn't
physics professors that wrote about the Avogadro's number thing we did the other day.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my
cool.
goodness. John writes, he wants to know, he said, I just ordered the 8-bit Hot Rod 66, which is an Ultra DMA 66 controller. Do you have the scoop on this card? Yeah, I actually use it. It's built into my 8-bit BP6 motherboard. I love it. You got to get the latest drivers. That's the key on that, and it'll work with everything, including Windows 2000.
All right,
hey, Mark Thompson, thanks for joining us. Have a safe trip back, okay?
I will. Thanks.
Okay. And that's it for this edition of the Screensavers. I'm Leo Laporte. There he is.
Kate Patello, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on the screen.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Let me hear.